being here. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi, and I want to welcome you to the Galactic Alliance. I'm so excited that you're here with us. And tonight, I'm going to go ahead and bring Neil up. Neil, I'm going to make you co host, and I'm going to bring you right up. So, our co host for tonight is Neil Gar. And Neil, for some reason, it's got everybody up here. So,
I
let's
saw
just,
myself with you.
yeah. So I really appreciate your being here tonight and being the co-host. I know you're busy, busy, busy because you got a lot of exciting stuff going on. You want to tell everybody about what's happening? Of course, Neil Gar, founder of Portal to Ascension. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Hello, everybody. Excited to be here with you to co-host with Sheila for this month, and a lot of exciting things going on for sure, and a lot of exciting things going on together. You know, with the Galactic Alliance, Portal to Ascension for the last few years, and we're continuing to evolve. I know Galactic Alliance has some amazing things happening this year, and so do we at Portal to Ascension. And we're tying together as much as possible in some of these productions in order to support each other and getting more and more of this awareness out to the masses. So I'm excited to be here with you all today and to see your beautiful faces and to be introducing one of the presenters who has been on Portal to Ascension now for just the last year or so, but we've definitely created a pretty big bond here. And I even brought on Joan of Angels, who I'll bring on just in a moment when we start talking about some events, who also is now working with Radha, because not only does she create a lot of amazing information coming through her, but she also has a publishing company, Radha Publishing House, in which both Joan and myself have been published. And the series of books, the level of content, and the collaboration that she is facilitating for people like us in the community is pretty unprecedented and really beautiful thing to see. So you're going to get an opportunity to experience it today. And what I want to do is just share what's happening with Portal to Ascension. Because just to give you kind of like in a nutshell, what's been happening the last 4 or 5 months. Well, let's just go back for the last 2 years. Really, I've been attempting to launch a new website with multiple. Some may say failures, but as many of you here, I don't really believe in the term failure. It's just wasn't time. Multiple things occurred in regards for it not to get launched, and a lot of stress and a lot of gray hair in the last 2 years. No joke. That we're literally launching tomorrow. So today is like a really beautiful day because not only have we been with the last developers for the last 2 years, but I was working with two other developers for the year before that did not work out. So this is 3 years of coding, of almost saying every month for the last 3 years, my new website's going to launch, my new website's going to launch. I've been driving myself insane the amount of times I've said that to the people. So we're really getting to a whole other level of production on this site with 10,000 hours of content, a really robust streaming platform for all the hours and presentations we have. The first 72 hours are going to be 100% everything free on our website. So it's like every video we've ever created, categories, like 500 categories, so we're attempting to do this big launch, and it's right in time for the fact that we are doing our Portal to Ascension 5th Annual Portal to Ascension Conference, which is going to be in about a week and a half from now, April 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And this is the first time in just over 2.5 years that we've done a live event. So, and the whole goal of all the things we do online, which as a lot of you know is a lot, is to be able to do live productions and events. So the amount of love and intention, amount of effort and work that has been put into this event is seriously, we have never done on any level before. Like we're fine-tuning every moment for this experience. So we hope to see you there, which is why I brought Joan of Angels on for multiple reasons, because Radha's here today and because Joan of Angels is the executive producer at Portal to Ascension, and she's putting in so much energy into what we're creating. I really wanted to give her a moment here just to like talk about her experience with this and how she's excited about it as well, right? So Joan, are you here with us? I think you are.
I am here with everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can't see you though.
Well, I'm here. Oh, there I am. All right. Hello, everyone. I love that Neil is one of the biggest collaborators I have ever worked with. And a year ago, he called me and he said, well, Joan, I want to bring you on a Portal to Ascension. And we created a year calendar that actually ended next week.
And then we extended it.
At the conference. And I was so excited because I don't know, I feel with Neil and I, we're creating and expanding the reach of the mystery schools and the Starseed Academies and the light workers. And it's really exciting to be a part of this launch. So I'm going to say that we're excited to see Sheila's going to be there.
Sheila's a sponsor.
Sponsors and Jenna, I'm giving her one name, Jaden. Jenna, whose house I'm in, is another sponsor in Tangela. So we have family coming to this conference. We have soul family, deliberately picked our vendors to be people we love. And if you cannot be there in person, at least you can always get the recordings. But I think what we've created is a wonderful opportunity to come together. We all need our wings fluffed. We need hugs. We need that sense of community, because we have worked hard the last 3 years. All of you have. Sheila's worked hard just to get to this point.
Yeah.
So I see it. This is how I see it, as a breathing spot.
Exactly.
We're coming together.
Yep. And Joan and I will be together in 2 days, spending a whole day getting all the equipment together. So really hope to see you guys there. I'm going to show you the trailer, show you the website, and then we'll get into introducing Radha in a second. And I got out. I was just to kind of like talk about what happened the last couple of weeks. I went into the forest in Oaxaca for this isolation meditation retreat a couple of weeks ago, and I spent some time there. And part of the reason why I was there was to get to really a place where I could hold space for what we're about to create, and to really fine tune, see if there's any other ways we can be very intentional with this experience. And about 60 other tasks came through me while I was there, and I wrote them all down in order to make this event super special in a way that everybody feels held, supported, and it's a ceremony from beginning to end. So I'd love for you guys to be part of the ceremony, because these aren't conferences to me. These events are gridworks. We're activating portals as we're creating these events. When we get together and we set our frequency and intention on something that is about upliftment and shifting the paradigm of the planet, it's just a beautiful thing. So that's what we're going to be doing there. So I'll get into showing you guys the trailer right now. Let's do it. After 3 years of having to produce the Portal to Ascension conference online, we have been waiting for this moment. The Portal to Ascension conference is returning live and in person. Join us at the Marina Village in San Diego, California, April 21st to 23rd, 2023. As massive shifts are happening on the planet and hidden truths are being uncovered, we are piecing together the fragmented parts of our existence and timeline. At Portal to Ascension, we are dedicated to full circle awareness of the truth of who we are and remembrance of our connection to the cosmos. This is showtime. There is no holding back. Now is the time for us to harmonize the frequencies and create unity and peace on Earth. We are deprogramming from an outdated matrix system, re-educating and remembering an inherent truth that connects us all. As we come together, we activate our truest potentials, individual gifts, and collective resolve. We are ushering a whole new reality that we know is possible and is waiting for us to embrace it. Join founder Neil Gore and the entire Portal to Ascension team with hosts Alan Steinfeld, Michelle Anderson, and Joan of Angels over these 3 days, April 21st to 23rd, 2023. We will experience musical performances by Larissa Stowe and the Shakti Tribe, Vox Angeles, Share the Light, Admiral Apollo, and Torquemji. This conference features incredible luminaries such as JJ and Desiree Hurtak, Adam Apollo, Carolyn Corey, Robert Schock, Linda Moulton Howe, Robert Edward Grant, Barbara Lamb, and many more. Register now at ascensionconference.com. It is time for humanity to awaken. It is definitely time for humanity to awaken, guys. This is going to be such a great event. And here is the website, ascensionconference.com. You can take a look at over here. You can look at the presenters, see what you're going to experience. We just finished booking the after party for Sunday night, which is going to be amazing. A lot of sound healing, a lot of music, and a lot of awareness shared there. So ascensionconference.com. And then plus we have a lot of other amazing things going on throughout the year, but we'll get to that another time. Right, Joan?
Well done. And before we introduce Radha, I want to point out that I now have the book cover behind me of Radha's most recent book on the power of the goddess. And she's going to be talking about that and how the goddesses are the frequency keepers. And I was actually have a chapter in her book. That's why I have this book cover behind me.
Mm-hmm. So, and I'll do a little bit of an official bio here, but it's in the first person. So I'm only going to say a little bit of it, and then we'll just bring Radha on and get right into it. And the way I connected with Radha, I think it was just maybe almost a couple of years ago now. And I believe it was her reaching out to me about the book that she was putting together, curating with multiple speakers, and asked me if I wanted to have a chapter in there. And I believe I connected with Maya first, who also works with Radha and is a channel of the Lemurians and so much divine wisdom. And I basically got to have a chapter in both of their books. One was Energy Healing and Soul Medicine, and the other one was we'll ask Radha right now when she comes on. But I really like this because this is the first time I'd ever seen someone within the community that had the publishing house that was, instead of having just one speaker speak on the whole thing on a specific topic, was actually allowing multiple voices to come around one topic to give the stories of their experiences, including the stories of awakening. And my chapter in the energy healing and soul medicine book was my modality of portals to ascension and how I got to where I'm at now, and how sound and vibration was included in there. So I really appreciated what she was doing there. And then as we started working together and I was interviewing Radha, realized she was a divine oracle and tapped into incredible awareness on many levels. So she is named after the goddess of love and devotion, Radha, a consort of Krishna. She's a multicultural woman, an infusion of East meets West, and her passion is storytelling. She's the founder and teacher of Goddess Code Academy, a mystical school for the divine feminine. You will find in her school many of her offerings to assist you on your healing journey. She specializes in goddess activations, her original healing modality. These have been highly requested in her sessions, and women across the world have benefited from them. Sharing goddess activation, she empowers the feminine towards their transformation. And her academy offers coaching and healing certification programs, and also VIP coaching healing programs for those who desire a high-touch mentorship. So you could find out more about Radha. I believe her website is radhanelia.com, I think. But let's go ahead and bring Radha on. But Joan, do you want to say anything about Radha before we do that?
Well, it's a pleasure to know Radha. She actually also, I got to meet her through an interview I was doing, and she informed me literally of my goddess heritage. And she, as a way, as an activator, to actually awaken you to that energy that runs through you and also take you back there. So I found it really powerful to work with you, Radha. I'm excited that we get to introduce you to the tribe. I'm excited I'm in your book. I actually could not believe it, but within 6 weeks, I actually felt like Hathor, wrote a book about Hathor, and now I'm really embracing that more divine feminine within me. So let's bring her on.
Welcome, Radha.
Thank you. So wonderful to be here. Much love and blessings to you all. I just feel so honored to be here because I think it's so important in this time that we really start to gather in these circles and spaces and start creating these safe containers so that we can express all of our divine frequencies, because everyone here is a frequency keeper.
I agree 100%. I love this setup too, because it's like a round table, right? After you speak, we all get to have an opportunity to have a discussion about it. And I feel that furthers the conversation, and we can go deeper by just having an open platform for everything.
I think so too. One of the reasons why I was called to do the collaborative books, it was never something that was like on my agenda or on my checklist, but it was really a call of the divine to bring forward various voices and authors and frequencies together, because there's something that happens like right now. Each one of us is like sharing our frequency. So we're creating sort of a symphony together. Just by being here, we're actually anchoring in, this is a specific frequency that we're all co-creating. And I think as the future rolls on, we're going to understand how every single every single person carries a unique frequency. Each one of you has your own divine frequency. And I think one of the things that we're doing now is unveiling and discovering what that is. So when we do energy healing or getting a session, we're like sort of peeling back a layer so that we can get to the next layer or level of our frequency, because we want to tap into that frequency as a bandwidth that we're all putting out. And I know that a lot of starseeds are really coming online with their frequencies, remembering, like, who here is starting to have memories? Like, raise your hand if you're starting to just have like memories or feelings or inner knowings. I think that, yeah, exactly. So that's part of your frequency, your divine frequency coming back online. And it's just really important to be around people that continuously nurture and nourish that frequency so that can keep reemerging, right? Because it's kind of like exercising. It's like a muscle. You got to keep kind of coming back to it, because we can slip out of our frequencies really easily. There's a lot of ways in which we fall with our frequencies, and nothing of that is shameful. It's just that we want to get back on that bike and keep riding it again, right? Keep getting that frequency higher and higher. And so I love what you're doing, Neil, with Portal to Ascension. You really gather, you're bringing everybody in and really letting everyone get into their divine frequency and to share that out with the world. And that is bringing healing. So yeah, I'm really excited about the future and everything that we're co-creating together.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, that's probably why I resonated with you so much, because it's a similar mission about bringing everybody up with you as you're getting this information, realizing that we're all keepers of the codes. We all have a frequency signature to contribute to this. When we say everybody matters and everybody on this earth matters, we really mean it. We all have something to offer to each other, even if it's just some insight that will allow us to have a perspective to move in a different direction. So we're creating a tapestry, a symphony, like you said. So do you have anything specifically you want to go into, or should we kind of just go back and forth and talk about, your life and your work?
I'm totally open. I'll share a little bit about how I've kind of tapped into understanding frequencies, if that's okay.
Yeah, definitely do it.
Yeah. So I have a background in producing, but I had a passion for energy healing. So I kept, learning more and more. And it's interesting because explaining it is so much different than just knowing it. I was just having a conversation today with one of my friends, like there's this inner knowing, like you can feel someone's frequency, right? So doing energy healing, a lot of times people have blockages. They have blockages, and we all have been, born into this world, and, we have blockages, but we're here to explore that, not in a way that's like, oh, something's wrong. It's more like, I'm really curious, like what's there, and when we start to go deeper and feel into it, you can really feel into people's field where frequencies are a little bit stuck, and it's good. It's really, really good, because then you can sort of clear that stuff out, or you can use many tools, right, Neil, like sound healing. Do you want to speak on, because you're an actual musician, Neil, so the different tones and frequencies and what each one of them means?
Yeah, you talking about like the chakra sounds?
Yeah.
Because that's just really the chakra sounds and how they correlate to each of the organs, and then they have specific emotional, spiritual, physical components. But I would say that beyond that would be just frequencies in general, that now in this day and age, we're able to synthesize all types of frequencies and then bombard cells with it and see what kind of effect they have. So I feel like that was my contribution to one of your books, is that in this new world that we're moving into, what's really going to take us from the mainstream and even the pharmaceutical industry is going to be an understanding of vibration, and how when you're disharmonic or have a distorted vibration, that's when sicknesses and diseases come in, right? Yeah. And which is why, like, it might start with something spiritual or emotional, but then it will eventually create some sort of blockage in your body that will manifest in physicality, you know. And I'm sure all of you here probably resonate with that. So that's just one of many modalities, and you have a modality too that you kind of put together, right?
Yeah, so goddess activations, that's really all about frequencies, but it's a full spectrum of like divine feminine frequencies. And by the way, yes, men can benefit from these frequencies too, because we all have masculine and feminine within us, right? But as you all know, we've gone through a very tumultuous history with the feminine, and just like the masculine in many ways. Both aspects have been highly hijacked. And so one of the ways that the feminine has been hijacked is through witch hunts. You know, they ended up killing like millions of women, and a lot of them were actually undocumented as well. So what happens to the cellular DNA when something like this occurs, a huge mass trauma, it actually recodes our DNA. So in our DNA, we have this fear of speaking out, of being in our truth. For many years, I had this fear of speaking, like so much that I would feel like I was burning in flames, literally. And it took me like 6 years of like really deep healing work to understand that this was like a witch wound that I had. And so when I tapped into this, I was just doing energy healing. I had a practice in Hollywood Hills. I was also doing producing, and it was like my fun joy that I was doing. But as I was seeing women, because mostly it was women that was coming in, I would start to feel almost like a certain frequency drop in of the feminine. And so I started to identify these frequencies as different goddess archetypes. And what I realized is that the feminine aspect within all of us has been cut off from these divine feminine frequencies. And so we're, in a sense, we were like malnourished for frequencies that really are part of our soul blueprint, but we couldn't access them for whatever reason, because of our trauma, of our beliefs. And so as these frequencies come in, I remember the first time I was sitting across from a woman and I felt Goddess Kuan Yin, and I didn't know like if I could say, so I asked her, I said, hey, is it okay if I just share? I'm feeling a presence. So I didn't want to scare her or anything like that. But she was like, yeah, of course, because she trusted me. And I was like, there's this frequency, this energy, Goddess Kuan Yin is really coming in and wants to this frequency wants to come through. And so she was like, wow, I've been seeing Goddess Kuan Yin everywhere. I've been reading about her. It's so wild that you're saying this, but you can actually feel the frequencies of certain divine beings or energies. So Kuan Yin represents like the goddess of love and compassion, and really forgiveness for self and forgiveness for others. And that's a huge part of healing, so that we can, forgiving is very challenging sometimes when people do things that are really hurtful. But every one of us here has been invited to forgive somebody in their life, right? For whatever reason. And so Goddess Kuan Yin really comes in and kind of with her frequency, with the permission of the client, that frequency just started to come through the room. Like it was pouring through the room, like just these beams of energy, and the client just opened up and just felt this heart awakening. And I felt it too. And that's a cool part, is because when you're dealing with divine frequencies of any kind, you're going to feel it as well, whatever side you're on, because frequencies they're not just like this little tiny, they're not in a box, right? They're free flowing. So you're going to get the benefit of them all. And now they're doing like different technologies. They're bringing forward Tesla technologies, and like these little beds are not quite med beds, but they're these like beds you can lay on, and they have certain frequencies that start to move out the denser frequencies, because part of the whole matrix thing is that the dense frequencies keep us stuck. And so we're like, okay, we're going to purge it out. And part of that is allowing these new, really strong light frequencies coming in. And has anybody been feeling that lately? I mean, come on, they're coming in every day. And sometimes they knock you out. Sometimes they make you feel moody because you're like, oh, I'm purging so much right now. Sometimes you feel high as a kite and you're like, woo, you're just feeling it. I'm vibing, I'm feeling it. So, it has a various effects on us, because just because there's a light frequency coming in doesn't mean that we're not purging out some densities, right? And that's never going to be like glamorous or feeling great. But I always know, okay, drink more water, like really breathe through this. The frequencies that are coming in now are available to everybody for free. And you just have to really like make that intention, open up and receive the highest frequencies available, and they're here for you. So, we have to learn to work with the frequencies and not against them. They're not our enemy. Like when these huge, solar blasts happen, they're not here to bring harm to us. It's actually blasting our DNA. It's activating us, right? We all are getting activated on a daily basis. And so how can we be better receivers of the frequencies, and also having the discernment, like this frequency doesn't feel right, but I want to open to this, beautiful frequency that I feel coming in. So you can start to discern and to feel the different kinds of frequencies coming in. It's a very intuitive thing. And many of you, or all of you here, have, I'm sure have many past lifetimes where you, like in Atlantis and Lemuria. I mean, those frequencies are starting, like the positive aspects are coming back online for us. So we want to be open to be divine receivers of them, right? Do you want to go into that, Neil?
No, I 100% agree with all that. But what I'm curious about is, how do we fine tune our senses to be able to use a discernment on it? Because, many of us, including myself up until even more recently, have numbed ourselves to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And have the inability to feel. And the whole term, the phrase feel to heal is true, right? And that's what I've been working on lately. So how can we start beginning to feel and using our discernments to know what's serving us and what is just there to purge?
Absolutely. Well, I really believe that it's important to sit with the really uncomfortable stuff. And I mean, just like any of you, it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. It's really miserable at times, because you could feel it. You could feel the energies that are not divine. It doesn't feel divine, but it is. And so there's a process. It's called feeding your demons. And really what it is that each one of us has been fragmented. And it doesn't mean anything's wrong with us. It just means that like we have all gone through a lot. It's been very tumultuous being a human being in this time period, and for many, many time periods. But right now we're really at the crossroads. So all of the stuff that hasn't been in alignment is really coming up to the surface. So I would say I would invite you to learn to sit with it. And you can even invite that stuff to sit in front of you, like in a chair. Like you can have a conversation with this energy that is been harassing you energetically. You can, what you do is you call in your highest frequency. And once you're in your pillar of light, you call in your pillar of light. Well, at least I do. This is what I do. And then I ask to be put in the heart of the creator. And then whatever frequency is revealing itself to me that's not in alignment to my next, version, because all of us are going through our next version. And sometimes we fall back and we tumble down a few, but then we go even higher. So I invite this stuff, I invite it to present itself so that it be known rather than just be like, unknown. Because even the numbness, right? Because we've all been hurt. Every person here, I mean, at least for me, we've all been heartbroken, right? So what happens to the heart? We say, okay, it's not safe to connect to source. It's not safe to connect. So we shut part of that down. We shut it down because we have to for survival. But it is okay to feel the numbness, and sometimes even just feeling like, wow, I feel so numb right now. Okay, this is interesting. And just being the observer of these different things that come through us energetically, it actually, the awareness, because consciousness is coming through us. Consciousness is coming through our eyes, our experience, right? I mean, we're consciousness observing ourselves too. And so when we observe that with it, just a neutrality and a tenderness, right? There's compassion. There is a reason why we became numb. There is a reason why we shut off. And so when we start to observe it, almost starts to melt away. So when you're feeling like, so the numbness, you put the numbness in front of you and say, okay, numbness, you've been serving me, you've been protecting me, you've been helping me, and thank you. Because I maybe I couldn't have gone through those days when you weren't there for me. And you actually acknowledge the, like, what we call like the ugliness, right? The monster. And we're not doing it to glorify it, but we're doing it because those shadowy parts within us will manifest really big if we don't really have a sit down with them. And they come in layers, and they come, and also like our lineage stuff, that stuff comes through us, 7 generations. So we can't escape it. And now Saturn is in Pisces, and I think until 26. Is anybody astrologer here? And that brings up all of our like wanting to numb out. Oh yes, we have an astrologer. That's awesome. Hello. So this is a perfect time to be facing that stuff. Because as we start to look at it, we say, okay, we're bringing the pillar of light. I'm full, like I'm not empty, I'm full. We come from that place. And then with that numbness in front of us, we're going to say, I'm going to feed you all that you need from me. So literally, I'm going to give you, I know it sounds like counterintuitive, but I'm going to just feed you. Do you need love? Do you need acknowledgement? Do you need to really be hugged? Do you need to be seen? Like, I'm just going to open my heart and just give you that mana, that what you need. And by doing that, it transmutes these patterns that are prevalent in all of our lives. Like, there's nobody that doesn't have them, because that's what we're up against right now. It's not to bring us more harm. It's to say, hey, you have the power. You are in charge. You have the reins. You have the steering wheel. And we have ways of transmuting things that are not fun and pleasant. And yes, and solitude is also really, really, really good. I mean, I live in the Appalachian Mountains, and I stay there for ever by myself. And I really love it, because sometimes it's good to be alone and feeling that, you get closer to yourself, to your own heart, to your own soul. And it's not easy, because who really wants to be alone? It's hard too. There's feelings of like, oh my gosh, I'm all alone. But it's a cultivation. We're kind of like growing up, like, right, as a collective. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything you're saying, and you're really tapping onto here is a form of radical self-acceptance, and to get to a point where we accept how we feel, no matter what it is. And the only way to really get to where we want to be is to feel even what we don't want to feel, where we don't want to be. Right? If you're at somewhere you don't want to be, and you're just like trying to be something that you're not, it's not going to work out, right? If you really accept where you're at, that's the paradox. When you accept the depression, you have a way out of it.
It's so true. Like,
right.
I think in the West, we've been taught, keep running, keep hiding, keep distracting. Like, that's sort of that's the MO that we've all been taught. But we're realizing that these these ways aren't working. So we're all learning, we're all growing together. And that's what I love, is that we're all together. Like, you know, and I think that's so beautiful, because okay, there are parts that I feel like, oh, there's shame, oh, there's fear. You know, we all have that. Like, I think it's kind of, I don't really like to mask that stuff, because it's there, you know, and it doesn't make it go away if you just pretend like it's not. But when you acknowledge it, it's all about integration, right, Neil? So integration is the key. It is the key, because I want you to know you're not just clearing up your stuff, right? You're clearing up your lineage for 7 generations, all the patternings that nobody could stop and look at. We're the ones doing that right now. It is so intense that it's all kind of whoosh, like,
Yeah.
right on our shoulders.
We're at the singularity. This is the moment.
Yeah,
You know?
this is the moment.
So Radha, I'm going to stop my video for just 5 minutes here, but I'm going to be listening in the background. So I want you to continue with this. And really, we're talking about right now is this level of these tools in order to basically feel, so that we can fine tune our senses, right? And if I'm not back on video, I would love for you to just go into your journey of how you even created the publishing house and, you know, what that means to you. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right, back.
Well, I just want to connect with you all here, because, you know, your time is valuable, and what you're going through right now matters. And how would you guys like to try doing this? Do you want to try this, or if not, that's okay too. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, we don't have to take a long time to do it, but I just want you to feel, because we'll hold the space for that, right? It is really sweet when somebody can hold the space, because it can be very scary when you're doing it alone sometimes, right? Because who wants to deal with that all alone? But here's opportunity. So I like to take every opportunity to sort of, okay, if we could just get a little bit more this time, by even going down, we will go up higher. So I'm going to invite you to just take 3 really deep cleansing breaths with me, okay? So we're going to take a breath now. Take a deep breath, as deep as you can, and hold it for 1 second. And I want you to sigh and kind of let it go. And you can unmute if you want to, because I want to hear feedback from you, okay? One more deep as you can go, like all the way to the root of the core of the earth. And I want you to exhale like, because actually when you make that sound, you're telling your nervous system it's safe to sort of drop down into your body. So let's do it one more time. And really allow yourself to feel that. I want you to feel the vibration in your throat chakra. So let's do it again one more time, just because I want you to actually experience it and feel the joy of the vibration in your throat chakra. Breathe deep into your root, as deep as you can. Beautiful. Now just shake your hands. Let's shake our hands out. Your hands hold so much stress. You guys, if you have a bad day or anything like that, just doing this flick with your hands, you're just you hold so much stress in your hands, and you don't even know the amount of energy that you hold. Your hands are powerful. They're your tools. So we want to open those chakras up, because they're actually chakras too. And take another deep breath. You can shake it out a little bit. It's amazing how, I mean, me too, like I'll get stuck, doing, because I'm on the desk all the time for work, and I forget I need to shake it out. I need to move. I need to release my hands. And after I just do this for like 1 minute and just kind of shake and breathe a little, so much clearing can happen. So everything is possible for us right now, in this now moment we have available to us. So let's utilize this moment, because your life is precious, our life is precious. Let's take this moment. And if you feel comfortable, some people, like for me, I just say the heart of the creator, because that's where when I do energy work, I do it from a higher place. Like we move into a place where there's not like all the archons and those energies, right? So I just say, put me in the creator, put me in the heart of the creator, and activate my pillar of light. So you can just imagine this beautiful pillar of light just coming right through your crown chakra. And I know I want you to actually feel this. So open your heart a little bit to this now moment, okay? Because I promise I'm here to be of service. So just open your heart a little to this and allow more light to come through. And feel that pristine, crystalline light coming in through your body, through your consciousness, your subconsciousness, your nervous system, your DNA, your RNA, your organs, your blood, everything. And it's just washing away anything that no longer serves you. That takes 20 seconds, right? So who feels that? Do you feel that? You feeling that? Yeah? Okay. And just feel and just breathe into that. I literally breathe in that plasma light. I call it the plasma light, and you can breathe into that plasma light. It's delicious. It's rejuvenating. It's healing. It's washing away all the gunk and the stuff. And I want you to just shake your shoulders, because I feel like a lot of you are holding, you're holding a lot, because you know why? You're star seeds, you're light workers, you're doing a lot for your lineage, regardless of the situation. Just like kind of rub your shoulders off a little bit. I know it's like, whew, like that. And you'll find how much you've been carrying. How much do you carry for others? Because you're an empath, because you're a healer, whether you have a practice or not, you are here anchoring in these codes, this frequency. All right, so you can just close your eyes if you want to. It's all up to you. And then in this safe, sacred space and in your pillar of light, you're contained, right? So now I always say, put the vacuum cleaner on, creator. So that means anything that's outside my frequency, that's not in the vibration, just kind of goes up into the vacuum cleaner. And that is so powerful, because I'm so sensitive when I go out, like even to go out to eat or something, I feel everybody's frequencies and energies and what they're going through. So if you're as sensitive as I am, it's like so game changing to do this, because being an empath is such a beautiful thing. And sometimes it feels painful because we feel so much of everything. So by just creating our sacred space, we are already in our protective it's almost like a super shield of light, plasma light. And I want you to know you can do this like when you're about to go out into the world. You just put this beautiful light through you, put your vacuum cleaner around you, and that is so powerful. Okay, so now I want you to just imagine, okay, so feel into your body. What's bothering you? Like what's there, like we all have these themes we're working through. Whatever that is for you, there is a frequency. It's and you can feel it because it feels like a little bit edgy. There's an edginess. It kind of like it's just got that edgy feeling. It could also be like anger or deep pain or grief or whatever that is. Put that part of you in a chair in front of you, and I like to close my eyes because I like to see what's going on. So anywhere, like if you have a nervousness, if you have a fear, whatever's been nagging at you lately, there's something been nagging at you that you're working through, go ahead, ask that part to go into the chair, and you'll be surprised that part will be like, okay, I'm here. And now I want you to sort of see or feel that part, like you're acknowledging it. And then you ask that part, like, what do you need? What do you need? And for me, I always close my eyes because I really tune in to that part. Like, what do you need? And you just keep asking that. And you'll get a feeling, depending on what your gift is, you'll feel it, you'll hear, you'll know, but you don't even have to be in control. You just ask creator, source, whatever you want to call it, the divine, to now bring that light that's coming through you, because there's a never ending amount of it. You're not in lack. You are in, like, it's you're in prosperity with this light. So you can share it because it's coming down to you and through you. And so you say, okay, I see you. I acknowledge you, and really feel into that feeling and send that light to that part. Like, I imagine it coming down through, and I see my heart literally like super beams coming out, and I just keep feeling it. So I will look directly at that part, that wounded part, that hurt part, that angry, sad, scared, whatever it is. And you just keep acknowledging it. And you don't have to even have a conversation. You're just feeding it, because it is a hungry ghost, right? So go ahead and just imagine that light is so much light. It's like a waterfall coming through you. So you can afford to open up your heart and now feed that part, because you have so much. You are not impoverished. You have so much coming through you. And imagine that light coming into that part of you that feels rejected, feels sad, whatever that is. It doesn't really matter. You're just bringing that love through. And now with your third eye, you're going to be looking at that part and lovingly observing with a sense of love in your heart. And as you are the observer of this, and that light is coming in, this aspect is actually shifting and changing. It is not solid. It is affected by the light. Everything in this world is affected by this light. When we are touched by the light, something shifts within us, and something shifts within our shadow. When we feed our shadows what it needs, that part becomes full, it becomes satiated, and now it transforms. It could turn into a beautiful angel, it could turn into just a beacon of light, whatever. It could just turn into a bird and fly back to creator. Whatever that is for you, there is no right or wrong, but it's through that loving observation. And that's what I love about the goddesses, because like the Kuan Yin frequency is that unconditional love. It is so accepting that we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to have all of it together. We just have to have that part of us that is willing to show up and willing to share. So take another deep breath. And if you are in this process with me, I want you to just like a superhero, beam that light. Woo! Just beam it right out into your shadow aspect, and watch with your third eye as it begins to shift. And if you don't see anything, that's perfectly okay. You can feel. Some people feel more than they can see, so that's okay too. And take a deep breath. And when you feel the completion of that, you can just rub your hands together in a loving way. And if you're still going, that's perfectly okay. And those that are complete, you're just going to gently tap on your chest. Take a deep breath. And now we gently put our hand over our heart, and we go like this, so we can be like, this belongs to me and that's yours. So our energy isn't spreading everywhere. Now we've understood that process is complete. And you can come back to this over and over again. So if that part comes back and flares out again, just sit it down and do this exact same thing again, because there is no right or wrong. It is just an experience, just like this life is, right? This whole entire life is an experience. And as we do that, do you know, we're actually transmuting so much for humanity, because as we actually deal with our own shadows that we all have, again, like nobody doesn't have them. Every human being incarnated here has them. I don't care if you were an ascended master or this or that. The truth is that when we agree to come in, many of us, we all go through this amnesia process, and we kind of give up our whatever we had going on before. And that is out of love. So many of us have really come here out of love because we want to participate in this time. There are souls that are all the way around the world, like 1,000 times over, that want to incarnate right now, because this is the most exciting time in all of the Earth's history. This is the most exciting time, but it may not feel like it for us who've been here, right? Through these dark, the darkness, and we've experienced so much. For us, we're like, oh, enough. But that's why we do these practices, so that we can actually transcend. Yes, transmutation, higher energies, frequencies. Yes. So that we can actually, when we do this, we're actually doing it on behalf of all. Because as we kind of start to transmute our own stuff, it wasn't really all ours. It was our lineages. These are centuries and lifetimes of things, but we're making great progress. Each one of you is making great progress. And I want to remind you that you're doing an incredible job. You know, it can feel daunting and at times hopeless, but that is not the truth. That's just a feeling, and feelings come and go. The truth is that, you know, the strongest light warriors, star seeds, were called to this time, and we're like, yeah, I want to come down. And yes, you can just give me all the karmic stuff, and I want to transmute it all, because I feel so light and bright in this higher plane. And then we drop in, we're like, whoa, what's going on? What is this? What? Take me home, right? But we're here. We're called the ground crew. So we're doing the work every day, and you know, each one of us is doing the very best that we can. And your contribution is so important, so powerful. You matter. Your voice matters, your heart matters, how you feel. It matters, like you matter. And I think it's so easy to think, oh, I don't matter. This is just a horrible, like, this can't be real. Trust me, you are part of this ascension process, and you are part of this awakening, and your contribution, your showing up, you're facing your shadows, is the most beautiful, amazing, powerful thing, because your frequency is the key. It's a golden key to unlock these ascension doors. So like, if more of us came together, say there was like 100,000 of us here right now, and we all did this, we would be opening up, you know, so many more doors. But we're actually opening a door right now together. Each one of you has accessed your golden key. I want you to know that. I want you to remember it. And regardless of the ups and downs of every day, you got this. You got this. You got this. You got this. I want you to come on. Let's snap our fingers. You got this. Yes, you do. So anytime you feel like you don't, I want you to snap, and I just want you to say, I got this. I got this. I got this. No matter how it looks, I got this. It's just a reminder to yourself that you have it, because you do have it. It's your soul. Your souls are so beautiful. I mean, so beautiful. And those are things that we can't really like see with our eye. Like if we close our eyes and we can feel the beauty. And that beauty is wanting to come out and be expressed. So I want you to be bold. I want you to be tenacious. I want you to use your voice because, you know, I struggled so much to get my voice. I really, really thought I could never get it. Every time I tried to speak, I would see a persecution, you know, like it was so scary. And I thought, I don't know how I'm going to possibly come through this, but I'm here to tell you to not be perfect, but to tell you that it's possible. And not only is it possible, but that's what you're here to do. You're here to overcome those huge obstacles that we are presented with every day. And it doesn't matter if it happens in one day or over a few years, but you're working through it. So please be patient with yourself. Be patient, because we're so mean to ourselves sometimes. Like, you know, I think it's just part of our culture that we didn't learn self-love in many ways. Like, it's not part of our society, right? Because the society won't, like, mainstream won't benefit if we all fell in love with our souls. Do you think they would benefit as much as they do? They wouldn't. It's our job now to say, no, I'm claiming this. Yes, programming, that is so important. Thank you for saying that, because that is one thing that we're doing. Each and every one of you, we have been so heavily programmed. I have been so heavily programmed, and I'm saying, no, I am not gonna continue on with this programming. I went through so much in my life. You know, when I was a little girl, I never fit in. People used to make fun of me. I went to so many schools, and all I wanted to do really was to fit in, right? Because I was, you know, Starseeds, we have a hard time fitting in. And so I was struggling. And then, you know, what was it, like in the 1999 or something, Baywatch came out, and I was like, oh, if I have bigger boobs, I'll be loved. Because really, truly, all I wanted was to be loved. That's it. I want to be loved. I want to be accepted. We all want to be loved and accepted. And so I went out and I got boobs, you know, a boob job as a teenager. And I thought that was going to be, you know, that was a programming at that time. Get those boobs. All my friends were doing it. And I thought, well, if I get these boobs, I'll feel more accepted. I'll feel more loved. And let me tell you, it was the opposite. It was the worst. I got sick. I struggled with my health. And, you know, I really had a hard time. I was on my deathbed all alone. And I attracted the wrong people because I was trying to fit in. So I attracted the wrong people into my life. People that didn't have my best interests at heart. And so I was on my deathbed, and I thought, and I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even move. And I didn't really have anybody with me. And I was like, okay, I'm doing a prayer. I did a prayer. I said, you know, Creator, you know, I really would love to live, but if this is my time, I will, you know, but just make it quick, because this is just too painful. I can barely talk. And so, I said, or give me a solution, right? So I asked for a solution. I asked. And so when I asked for a solution, the next day, an article came out from Hugh Hefner's wife, and she talks about breast implant illness. So I learned about it. And then I heard the voice of the divine say, listen, you have 1 month to get it together, because that's all you really have left is 1 month. And so I was like, okay. And even though I had no energy, no life force left, everything came to me like this, right? It came so fast because I was in divine surrender. I prayed and I asked. I said, okay, this is fine. I accept, I surrender. But also, if this is possible, if you want me to go on, I will. Immediately I got information for the best surgeon who clears all that stuff out. I mean, everything came to me right away. Within 2 weeks, I had my surgery day. I went to Costa Rica. The rest is history. But I'm only telling this to you because I understand like the programming is so intense. The desire to be accepted and to belong is so intense. And it is so hard because the way the programming will go, it'll be like, this is the way to be accepted. Nope, now it's this way, it's this way. It'll change all the time. So we can't put our faith into that. We have to put our faith into ourselves, into the divine. And remember, we didn't come here to fit in. We came here to change the game, right? We came here to be the star seeds who are here to make a difference, because we came here with a new frequency, and that frequency was never meant to fit in. That is my whole point. I tried to fit into those frequencies, and it harmed me really bad. So I realized, no, I can't. I'm not. That's not my purpose, is not to fit in or try to be matching frequencies that don't belong to me. We are here as frequency keepers so that we can really shift and change the frequencies in this world. And that's why we're here. So please remember who you are and that you matter.
Beautifully said, Radha. Thank you so much. And that resonates so much, especially in my own life. And as Stone's blowing you a kiss there, she's feeling it too. And we didn't come here to fit in. I've been thinking my whole life I was trying to fit in for so long. And I felt left out and different, but it is. We all, not only are we here to do a collective thing, which is shift the consciousness, we all come in with our own frequency that aren't a part of here. By definition, it's a new frequency. It's not going to fit in, but it's going to set the foundation for what's to come.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
All right. So, Radha, should we open it up to everybody in the room here?
Yes.
Let's get some interaction going, yeah? All right. So, okay, if anybody wants to jump on, comments and questions at this moment would be great. I feel like James and Stone, you guys have been interacting quite a lot. Maybe you guys want to jump on, start us off here.
Hey there. Hi, Radha. I practice what you've spoken about today, and I have found a way to get into that light and just go in that stream, wash away everything from the past, all the baggages that were never mine in the first place, ancestral wise and so on. So what you said today, I truly resonated with that. Very appreciate the work that you've done in getting through this adventure to this point. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, we are frequency signatures. I see myself as, we might be like what you were saying, Neil, we are a key. We are one frequency, and we, as much as we resonate, when we all come together and we hold our frequency, that is a force field to be reckoned with. So thank you again for sharing that. All the best.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, it's being key codes. Each one of you is a key code. So activate. Yes, I see a smile. James, I feel like you should share.
I had a comment and perhaps asking for a tiny bit of advice. So I've been going through a very long shadow work. I've been through Dark Nights of the Soul several times, and this is different. It's not quite as complete. And I looked up Carl Jung's concept of shadow work, and one tidbit I thought I'd share with the room is how he said shadow work is not necessarily always about your dark side. It can be about something that you didn't know about yourself, like you're the best bread baker in the family, and that's wonderful that you now know that. And so that took a lot of pressure off me, because you think you're just digging for what you don't want to look at. But the question that I sort of have for you, and perhaps for the room, is I've been getting a huge amount of upgrades for about the last 2.5 months, as in like 3 to 4 visitations a week. And they really, I say this with love, kind of isolated me socially, not in a bad way, but definitely. And, my exposure to my friends has gone back down to maybe instead of 10 times a week to once or twice a week. And I'm wondering if in your experience, if this happens from time to time, because I've been doing this work for a decade after a near-death experience, and this is very new to me. This 2.5 months of necessary, well-loved isolation.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Listen, I think it really is, because the universe will sort of tell you, you're getting the divine message that it's time for you to pull back. And usually when that happens is because part of us is, we're going through a massive shift. So part of us may be going through a death process, right? And we're always going through death and rebirth process. So something inside of you is actually birthing a seed within you that is an ancient seed, is starting to rebirth within you. And that part of you needs to pull back, because it can't really flourish and grow with the old templating that everyday templating. So that's why we pull back, because we know that we cannot flourish in the newness that is emerging. Yes, and accelerated timelines. There's a part of you that is quantifying. And a lot of us, like I said earlier, are getting back certain memories, certain gifts that we've had, right? Some of us have had great gifts. And like I said, we go through that amnesia, so we just turn off. Now it's time, we're turning on. It's time, but that doesn't mean we need everyone else around us. We come together in these sacred spaces because we know they're safe and that we all have our highest intention for each other. But it's sort of a protection, right? It's a kind of like the metamorphosis of a butterfly. It's like that cocoon process is happening. And I kind of feel that energy around you, this chrysalis, but it's a beautiful chrysalis. It's divine, it's light, and there's so much coding inside of it. There will be, I feel like there's a reckoning coming, like, cause I feel your heart, like I feel your chakras are starting to really open. Like, so in order for them to fully open, it's like you have to be in the safe chrysalis. And then it's like, now after this process, you will feel like you have something more to share that's really part of your bigger purpose. So it's not a negative thing. When we feel that need to pull back, we demonize ourselves. Oh no, is there something wrong with me? I don't fit in. Da, da, da. All that stuff comes back. When I hear the call, when I feel the call, I know it's time, because I know that I have to crystallize in my chrysalis. And there's like many phases. It's not just a one-time thing. If this is happening for you, you might go through multiple upgrades. Your body is changing, your light body is activating, your crystalline aspects of you are awakening. Do you think that can happen when we're bombarded with all the lower frequencies that keep reminding us? And it's very difficult. And many of us have to go out and do our thing, but if you're being asked to do that, it's a divine blessing. So take it as the blessing that it is, embrace it. This is my time. I want you to feel like this is my time. It's not selfish to embrace the chrysalis process, because it's essential. It is essential. There's a portal actually coming down through into your field of divinity that wants to crystalline inside of you. So protect it. That's what I'd say. Like, sometimes you have to protect it, and you're like, oh, how do I defend this? My friend wants me to go out and do this same thing we used to do. And sometimes, and that's why I love going to Appalachians, because nobody asked me to go anywhere. I'm just like, I am in the Appalachian Mountains. Do you want to come here? And nobody wants to go there. So it's like, that's my time when I know I'm going through upgrades. And I accept it. And I totally, totally honor it. And I even honor the grief. I honor the grief of the death of who kind of like parts of myself that are, you know, shedding off, dying. But I also honor that I feel my wings are just, you know, every time we do that, our wings get a little bigger. And we are stretching our wings. And Joan knows all about that because Joan of Angels, because, you know, she's a angelic, but many of us have, our wings have felt cut off, you know? And so now this is your time. So I want you to cherish this moment, honor this moment, and not run from it or try to distract, deflect, or please anybody. I'm asking you, if you so choose, to honor this sacred time that you've been given.
I really appreciate it. And I'll also say, after I got over the confusion of it, because it was so new, I did begin to enjoy it. I'm doing a lot of reading. I cleaned my meditation space, which I'm sitting in right now. I'm sort of redoing it, getting rid of things. Also, this very good interpretation of Carl Jung's shadow work. The gentleman who was narrating it also spoke of, there are some deaths of friendships, and they're necessary, and it is a little hard. And I'll close with this. I too escaped to Appalachia when it's time to go. And others here have seen, I built a stone circle there. And as I go up I-26 west toward Henderson County, where the house is, the second I get to the true mountains, they say hello. They absolutely draw you in. And I know when to go, because they'll say you have to go. And that's where a lot of these visitations occur too, because it's very remote is the best way to put it. So yes, I agree with you. And I appreciate everything you said, guys. And thank you for your time allowing me to speak.
Oh, that's beautiful. I just love hearing that. I love that the mountains speak to you, because the mountains speak to me too. And they've called me back over and over again. And the crystals underneath the ground, they actually call. And they also call to be cleansed. So when I always bring the pillar of light to them too, you know, because they want to be cleared. They want the earth, Mother Gaia, guys, wherever you are, you know, wherever you are, it's for a reason. Like some of you travel a lot, like Neil and Joan, you travel a lot because you're doing a lot of grid work wherever you go, whether you know it or not. But so are you, because the land calls to you because you're meant to be there. And so it's a really divine experience. It's so prolific. And I wish everyone could experience this because it's beautiful, you know, to be in that peace, in that quiet, and to understand the land is communicating with us and we're communicating with it. And there's a relationship, and that relationship is so sacred. And that's really being called to come back to us. So it doesn't matter if you live in the city right now, because if you do, it means that you are here to anchor the light in the city. The cities really need that, you know, they need you. And so wherever you are needed. And it's not a needy feeling, but it doesn't mean you have to appease others, right? It means your relationship with spirit, the divine nature, that's within you. Nobody will understand it. Nobody understood it when I went and I left everything. And they thought I was crazy, you know, because why would you leave all of this? Why would you do that? But I heard the call, and we are being asked to listen to the subtleness of the divine. You know, the winds are talking now, the trees are talking, the hills are talking, the mountains are talking, and the crystals in the earth are talking. And we can also co-create with them. You are co-creators. Each one of you here is a divine co-creator with your environment. You can bring that pillar of light and command that all the crystals activate and awaken, and that they work for you. And you'll be surprised, like, wow, things manifest so fast when I'm living on top of the mountain by the crystals. Things manifest like this. When I'm there, it's a different feeling. And it's positive. but the earth elements will amplify everything inside of us. So if there's something that needs to activate within us, it will activate it. If there's something that needs to release, it will help us release. The earth is our ally, and we really need to come back to that. And the earth actually is asking for more of our presence. So I think it's so beautiful that you feel the call to the mountains. It's like, yes, if you feel the call, it's because you are being called. It's that simple.
Yes. And when we move away from the cities and some of us shift into these other worlds, then and dissipate all the noise around us, that's when we can really truly hear our own souls and the spirit of the earth, right? So taking that time to retreat. I'm curious what your thoughts are, because you talk about the divine goddess a lot. What are your thoughts in regards to nature and how it represents the masculine and feminine energies? Would you consider maybe the mountains to be a masculine energy, and it's like the divine masculine is calling you to heal that part of you? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I mean, nature is a balance of the divine feminine and masculine, and you can see it. It's a physical thing that you can see in the plants. You can see it. I think nature helps balance our polarities, because nature is balanced in its own natural state. It's completely balanced, masculine and feminine. It just is. And that's a reminder for us, like, we need to know that it's okay for us to just be, to just breathe. Nature gives us that permission. It is very masculine in the sense that it does, like, yeah, the mountains they hold me. I feel like the trees protect me. I know it's like funny, but the trees are like the divine and divine masculine. It protects me from her energies. I'm so sensitive and such an empath that sometimes people's thoughts even affect me. So it's not, and I don't run away from it. I actually I understand that about myself. I've always been like that. And I've always tried to numb that part of me because it's so intense, right? But there's something so sweet about the trees. They do feel like masculine holding me, that I feel safe and I can just relax. And I feel like I could let my guard down and, like, just breathe. And we need that. So nature is both the masculine and feminine polarity in total balance.
So beautifully said. And especially when it comes to transcending gender to what the energies really represent, because like the masculine energy represents the sacred container, the mountain that is immovable in the world of anxieties and anger and rage. It stays there as that solid mountain. And we consider Mother Earth, but it is literally a balance of these energies, providing the feminine energies, the Shakti energy, the wildness of nature and the blossoming of flowers, right? And so we can learn so much just by spending more time in nature.
So much. And how masculine and feminine flow in ease. Like, that's what nature teaches me, is that it's, and I'm I do a lot of the work with the divine feminine because there's a need for it, right? But I've also been of service, like, with the masculine, and I think we're all divine feminine, all divine masculine, like we said before. But it's a beautiful thing to honor both, and to actually see it and to feel it in harmony, because it does exist. A lot of the everything's been kind of displaced as far as polarity goes. So we have to just balance it within ourselves. That's where it matters, right? And the divine masculine, by the way, is so important and so needed at this time as a beautiful force, because the divine masculine does hold that space for us. And we as a society are in need of that essence, of that energy, of that polarity, because it's the polarities that keep things in balance, right? It is. And so when those polarities kind of tumble and fall, we're like, whoa, what's going on? It is so important to remember that. So, I also want to really credit the masculine and say thank you. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, James. Thank you to all the divine masculine that are here. Like, your energy is so important. It matters like so deeply that you don't even know the impact it makes. Like it's so profound and so healing and so needed. And I just want to say thank you for sharing your energy and showing up, and even like you, Neil, holding these containers, because that is what is needed on earth. That is so needed, these sacred containers, and also the masculine holding them. I think in the future, and I feel in the future, it'll be masculine and feminine coming together in sacred circle, right? That's so important, and it's essential. So I want to just let you know that yes, it is important. You are important, and it matters.
Thank you. When you were sharing all that, I was kind of thinking about like these sacred circles that happen, men's group circles and women's group circles, and I was seeing this image in my head of why do we even have those circles? Was it a women group? Why is it a men's group? Well, there's a lot of wounds that have happened on this planet, and us being around others that have had similar wounds gives us the opportunity to heal and grow from it. And that's why these groups have been so important. But then what happens when you come to a place of, I don't think healing is a destination anymore like I used to. But what comes to a place when you're at a level of healing and have awakened and healed through a lot of those wounds is then you can share your sacredness. And that's when you join forces. The divine masculine and divine feminine come together to create something new. And for so long, when I first started doing this in 2008, I was doing an annual conference called the Divine Feminine Conference. It was a 2-day conference every year for like 4 or 5 years until like 2013. And then I started having men messaging me and said, what about like the divine masculine? And I was thinking about it, and I was realizing that because we've had this chokehold of patriarchy and a lot of like wounded masculine energy in the world, we neglect to realize that the masculine energy isn't that of being wounded. There is a masculine energy that has been suppressed and distorted. Hardcore distortions going on right now. Yeah. And so what needs to happen is the rise of the feminine. So the cloud on top of that feminine energy is gone. And then the masculine needs to stand up to become the sacred man, right? And so also then I started doing Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine Conference every year for a whole little while, right? Because it's really about all of us rising together,
It's so
my
true.
thoughts on it.
No, I so love that, because I think, yes, we all need to heal. We all have these wounds, and we can have I could have a wounded masculine within me. You could have a wounded feminine within you. We do have these polarities, and we must address them, and with so much love, because they're really tender. They're tender, and they need a lot of compassion. And I just love that, because it is so important, because ultimately we are here to rise together. It's all of us, hand in hand, we are here. But first, it's almost like we have to get through our own cathartic stuff, right? So some of us have taken on huge lineages of pain in certain areas. So some men have taken on huge masculine pain and all of the wounding. Because why? Not because you're weak, but because you're so powerful. Because you're the one to transcend this, to alchemize it. It is calling for the divine alchemist. And that is why you must know that you are a frequency keeper. Because if you realize that and really understand that, you understand, wow, this heaviness, this mother wound that's been going on for 10 generations, and it's on my shoulder, it's in my heart, it's in my soul, it feels like it's breaking me apart, right? When we go in and do that, it's deep work, right? That is part of the transcendence. So each one of us has been assigned, like you said, I'm an angel, I'm so light and bright, I'm going to take it all on, right? So you took it on. We all took it on. We chose to take some of it on. And why? Because you are the alchemist. You were chosen. You also volunteered. And now that we can really get that out of the way, we can start to transmute that. Once we really get through these certain stages, we're all going to be hand in hand, like, hey, we are one, like we're one. That's it. And so, but we have to sort of, we do have to address these shadows and wounds that each one of us has that's very particular to our lineage. And that's for a specific reason, because you are a starseed and you are an alchemist, and you're here to transcend and to alchemize so much, because you're badass and you're powerful and you're a frequency keeper. Because once you actually, like, you know, really start to transcend that, it's almost like this whole new frequency opens up to you. It's like a stargate within yourself, but you've always had the key. Isn't that funny? You've always had the key, and we're like, oh, why me? Well, no, because you have the key, honey. You have the key. I have to laugh. I laugh at myself all the time, because I mean, we're all transcending so much, but we are the key holders. We have the key codes. So man, woman, key code holders, and together we're unlocking the door of this ascension process.
Exactly. We didn't come here to push the status quo. We came to shift it up. All right. So we, Stacy, I see you have your hand raised. Did you want to jump in here?
I just something she was saying was just hitting on me. Just a question for you, if you can answer it. I have to, starting next week, I'm in like my dad's murder trial for 6 weeks. And I know it's gonna be intense and life-changing. Would you have anything, like, I'm just kind of thinking that, obviously I'm there to learn something and to grow, and is there something I should be looking for or aware of more? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So could you okay, let me just tune in for 1 second. Is that okay if I tune into you?
Yeah, of course.
Wow. You're very powerful. Stacy, that's your name, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I close my eyes and just ask just to see, I see you coming in just like a pillar of light. And this is something that it's actually being revealed to you now, because it's meant to be. You are the word clearing, like, you're helping to just clear so much karma by your presence and by, okay, this may not feel appropriate, so please forgive me, but the word is forgiveness. That's
No. I'm feeling that too, that this is, going through this process and observing the feelings and that, but being in there for that 6 weeks with my heart open, offering love, mercy, grace, forgiveness for every aspect and fragment of this whole system, and even what creates this in our society. No, I get that too, and thank you. That's just giving me confirmation on, the pillar I'm in there to stand on. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I do. So I see you coming in, like, I feel like there's so much darkness in this situation, in the space that you're walking into, but it is like you are bringing in this, and it's almost like, I know it sounds funny, but it's like stealth energy, stealth light. It's like the light has something in it too, that we can be very subtle and bring this subtle energy that shifts so much. But you have been an alchemist in your former incarnations. You have this it's a benevolent wizard energy, and it's beautiful, but there is something like it's not even just for this situation, which is heart, in the heart, right? What this actually represents. So what I hear is like Creator actually puts us in situations that seem like they're like the worst, and it's just us, right? but actually sometimes they are templates, right? For a collective kind of, it's a huge collective, it's a whole world. And we come into these really intense situations and very subtle, but like anchored in that light, because we are disrupting the old like patternings, the energies, the distortions, all of that shadowy stuff. Like it's just starting to, it cannot, it's a template, and creator brings that. It's interesting how it comes down to like one person, one situation, but it actually has this effect that's like the 100th monkey effect, where it starts to disrupt and displace other injustices and other situations. It's almost like you're turning the stone over. And when you do, with that compassion and centeredness, it is not just happening just in your situation. This is a multiplied event where there's so much injustice that you're acting as like, I am. It's interesting, the goddess Ma'at coming in. It's like the goddess, she's the goddess of justice, right? She's ancient goddess who had the scales, and it was about justice. And at one point she was very revered because she really weighed the heart, and put a feather to your heart, and you had to be able to have your heart as light as a feather in order to get through to the next stage. And so in a sense, you're carrying that Ma'at energy, like you're bringing the scales, and you're also bringing this frequency that is kind of blasting into the world, not just this particular place, but all courthouses where there's so much darkness. So
Thank you. That really helps me, because I knew I'm going through this on a bigger, grander scale of what I'm there to do and represent and to be. And this just helps me, thank
Mhm.
you very much.
Absolutely. And I just want to send so much love to you, because that's a big work that you're doing. But you are so prepared, because you've spent many incarnations, developing all of your skills, and now it's go time. So you do got this. You got this.
Beautiful. All right, let's go over to you, Anne. I see your hand raised, and your question will be the last one. So after that, we'll talk a little bit about Glastonbury after that. All right, Radha? Go ahead,
Yeah.
Anne.
I've noticed, as I've been doing a lot of spiritual work on myself and raising my frequency, that something that I was accustomed to on social media that I looked at as spiritual guidance blocked me on Sunday after 5 years of my following them. And the energy felt really intense to me.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering if spirit is telling me that I provide my own inner guidance.
It's interesting. I'm like, I keep hearing, you got it, because that's the message for all of you here. It's that there is something inside of you each that is ready, because it's almost like we're coming up. I just feel that it's like, this is the energy for the collective, for the star seeds. It's like we've been going woo, and sometimes we're going like this, but now it's time to lift off, right? And as painful as it is to feel that rejection, it's divine protection, because you're being asked to rely more on your inner truth. There is actually part of you that wants to come online more, that is that awakened part, that is that oracle aspect, right? So it's okay. That's beautiful. When we are blocked in life, when we are stopped, that's the universe saying, enough. Now, can you please just look in the mirror and see how great you are? Like it's about you seeing yourself, like really seeing your essence, seeing the essence of your soul, like feeling into that, knowing that oracular aspect of you wants to awaken, wants to manifest. Are you, do you feel like you trust your inner self?
Yes, I do. I
Okay.
used to doubt my inner self.
Yeah.
Just like you, I'm very different. I never fit in because I am a starseed and I'm a way shower.
Exactly. And that's it, because once again, you weren't here to just fit in or follow someone else's dogma. We get prompted, we get guided, but really it's what's inside of you that wants to magnify, awaken, and take up more space. So there's something inside of you that wants to awaken more to your gifts. And I think that's the case for everybody here, where it's like go time. We're here to show up now. We're not here to just sort of follow. Like, we actually, whether we're going through our metamorphosis, our chrysalis, our transformation, but why are we going through that? Because we know we are here to spread those wings. We are here as way showers, right? So we came in with that frequency to shift, not to be like, oh, I want to be like you, I want to follow you. We're here and we're working together, right? We're all working together because we understand that each person has their unique gift, and that only complements the other. So if that's not in your frequency anymore, that's okay. So many of us are being faced with releasing and letting go. And it is really painful because, I mean, it is painful. There's no like why it's painful. It is hard to let go of anything that we felt an attachment to. But as we let go of these attachments, it's making room more for us, right? That pillar of light coming in, us standing in our pillar, standing in our truth. And that is part of your way. So your next step is maybe that you are meant to start sharing more. You know what I mean? Instead of just following somebody else, that was their divine guidance to let you go, to cut the cord so that you can now get your wings out and start to soar, right?
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. How do you feel in your heart?
I mean, I feel good about myself, but I felt the sense of betrayal.
Yeah.
It was kind of like having a sense of the rug being pulled out from underneath me when this happened.
It's, what I want to say? It's like the training wheels are being taken off. And apply this to your life in any way, you guys, because each one of us, our training wheels are being ripped off right now. And it's not fun, but it's necessary. You will not know how great you can get on that bike and ride unless the training wheels come off. So this is where the universe is really asking us to step in to our truest divinity and have that faith that we have everything we need inside of ourselves. You have everything you need inside of you. And even if you're going through a chrysalis, whether you're going into like a very public place where you have to hold a pillar, whether you're getting rejected, it's all for us, right? It's all for you. It's all for us. We're being asked to remember. And it can feel like the betrayal. It can feel like a rug being pulled under us. It can feel like the greatest grief, the loneliness. All of that is part of the journey at this moment. It doesn't mean it's going to last forever. And that is why, again, portal to ascension, why this, these spaces are so important, because we are coming here. We all have like the same frequencies and our hearts are open. And we want the best for each other. But, we have to find our sacred spaces and to learn to use like that discernment. And you've obviously outgrown that. So anything that you've outgrown, there is a mourning. And I want to acknowledge that, because it is not like, oh, whatever. It's not like that. It is grief. It is sadness. It's all the feelings of rejection will come up, and all the feelings of I don't belong. But that's part of the starseed thing where we're like, okay, I get it. Okay, or another reminder, we're not here to try to be in everyone's frequency. Okay, we're here to bring the new frequency for the new earth.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
beautiful. All right. So thank you so much for everybody for sharing, and Radha for presenting here and bringing your frequency, your beautiful divine frequency with so much grace and beauty. And what I want to do is we're going to segue in a moment here and talk about the event that Radha's going to be at with Portals Ascension, which is not the Portals Ascension San Diego event, which is Portals Ascension Glastonbury. So we're going international this year. We're going to be in Avalon. So we're going to talk about that. But I want to really honor everything that we've experienced here today before we segue into talking about that event. So let's just all just take a moment and just kind of just relax and just chill. And we're on your own pace. I'm not going to guide it. Let's just take 3 deep breaths in and deep inhale, and then exhale through the heart, bringing ourselves to a state of stillness. All right, whenever you're done with your third breath, you can open your eyes. The breath is one of life's biggest blessings. And together, through the breath, we can connect to ourselves and connect to the entire cosmos. So just want to really be practical with and intentional with everything we experience here. Got a lot of information, got a lot of insight. And now we bring it into ourselves, into our own sacred container, so that it can really do what it's supposed to do and bring the frequency that we need in order to be the people we really want to be. So again, thank you, Radha. All right. And so what we're going to do now is actually I'm going to hand it back over to Radha, but first I'm going to tell you that we are doing a conference in Glastonbury, and you might have heard the spiel somewhere on the internet, but basically I was born in England. I moved when I was 12 to California, and when I started Portal to Ascension when I was 18 years old, well, I woke up at 18. I didn't start until a few years later, but when I started around that time, I had a download in the first few months that when we do an event internationally, there's going to be a karmic cycle I complete for my own life, and Portal Ascension is going to be going to a whole other level of production, and that's literally happening right now. Not only are we taking 2 tours to Egypt, so side note, if you guys want to come to Egypt with us, EgyptAscensionRetreat.com. JJ and Desiree Hertak, we're going with them. But then we're also going to Glastonbury to do one of the most, this is actually the most intentional event we've ever created, because, and I say that about every event, but that's only because it gets more intentional every time. So it's like, so I could always say that. But basically, it's not only a conference, we have a tour and a retreat the day before. We have another retreat that we're sponsoring that's going to happen the week after to south of France and to Egypt. We have the conference. We're starting off with a cacao ceremony. We have representatives from the Druidic Council there. It's straight up grid work happening in a form of a conference. And so we're going to do it like a ceremony. And they say that Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the world. And basically, some people have told me this is how it kind of happened, actually. I'll give out more information that maybe you guys need, but that's okay. That, you know, a lot of people go to Glastonbury because it is the heart chakra, the light and dark forces, and they both do their whatever they're doing in order to put that energy into the ley lines. So what we're doing there is we're going through this 3-day ceremony. Denise, if you don't mind muting yourself, we can kind of hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries, Denise. Thank you. And then, so because of that, what we're doing is a super heart activating conference for 3 days. And the theme is activate the heart. So with the energy and the frequency that we're all going to cultivate, we're amplifying and putting that direct frequency into the planet. Plus, this amount of luminaries from all over the world into these topics, I've looked at the last 10 years of Glastonbury conferences. Nothing has happened like this before. And the reason why I was told to do this event in Glastonbury was someone on my Telegram group when I was in Glastonbury a few months ago said, hey, let me make you some lunch. We hung out at the King Arthur's Abbey, and she told me that, you know, even though there's a lot of spiritual kind of practitioners there, there is no direction to where this leads to. And the whole thing of Portal to Ascension is we're doing all this work, which is because we're leading to a world where we all feel our sovereignty and we can really embrace our sovereignty and be at peace with each other and ourselves and the planet. So she said, that's missing in Glastonbury. And I said, really? And then I started doing research. 10 years of conferences, I was looking at the speakers, everything. And I realized that that ascension component isn't there. So we decided to go ahead and do it. So that's the long story about why we're going to be there. So I'm going to show you the trailer. And then Radha, I would love for you to come back on and just share why you're so passionate about being there and what you feel you're going to be contributing. So here we are.
The Portal to Ascension mission officially began in 2008. After 15 years of evolution and thousands of events, from live to online and back to live again, there was always an awareness that when we begin creating events internationally, the mission will shift into its next phase. That time is now. Portal to Ascension is traveling to Glastonbury in August 2023 to fulfill this mission. This gathering of incredible luminaries traveling from all over the world to join forces in Avalon is a sacred pilgrimage to these ancient lands, and we invite you to embark on this quest with us. The Portal to Ascension Glastonbury is not only a conference, it is a retreat, a tour, and grid work. Together we are connecting the powerful mysteries and the ley lines of the heart of Earth, activating and uniting together as one. This 3-day event will feature Laura Eisenhower, Anton Parks, Geraldine Orozco, Vivienne Chauvet, Sage Oneness, Lori Spagna, and many more. Your MCs are Neil Gore, Alan Steinfeld, and Joan of Angels. As a collective, we are waking up from a deep slumber, aligning to our true potential. What will we create? What will we envision? What are the possibilities? Join us in this ancient land for a unique opportunity and a gathering that will activate, elevate, inspire, and uplevel all that attend. August 11th to 13th, 2023. Sign up now at ascensionglastonbury.com.
Oh, I felt an activation just watching this. Do you guys feel that activation? I felt
No,
goosebumps
seriously.
like all over, like, oh, on my arm.
It's my favorite trailer that we've ever put together, for sure. With all the people standing around in the fire and the universe behind them. Yeah, no, I get chills every time I watch it. The first time I saw it, I had like one soul tear drop down my face.
Yeah,
The
that's
first
what I
time
was getting teary-eyed. I'm like, oh, so special.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why I was like, yes, I want to be part of it, because I understand how important it is, you know, like we said earlier, to get together in these sacred groups with deep intention. And grid work has become a must. Like, every one of you is doing grid work where you are, whether you know it or not. And coming together in this sacred space, which is like the heart chakra, right, of the world, we can do so much. Do you understand how incredible this is, that we're all going to be together with this great intention? Like, we are here to stand for Mother Gaia's heart. Not only that, we understand that the ley lines have been under attack. You know, they have, artificially so. It's you know, it's beyond conspiracy. It just is. And so, how do you counter something that has been really bringing so much harm? Is you really stand in your heart. You stand for love. You stand for truth, right? We don't fight. We're not like, oh, we're gonna fight this. No. We're gonna show up. We are showing up from all corners of the earth, and we are saying, hey, you know what? The heart of this earth deserves our love and attention. And when we come together and we all have our frequencies, again, our frequencies that we've been working on personally, because we have to work on them personally, and then we come together in this elevated space, the shift that happens, it doesn't matter what nefariousness has been going on there, because when we put our feet into the ground and anchor that pillar of light, like, it is just going to raise the vibration to a whole new level. So it's really game changing, and I'm so excited about this. I hope that I will see and meet some of you there. And I'm sorry, my dog is really excited. She's like also so yeah, she can feel the energy because it's powerful energy. So I just want to say thank you, Neil, for actualizing this, like getting that download. And that's what happens when we do that work, is that we actually start to get those downloads. And we realize how can I be of greater service? It's not just about me. It's we are the center of that. But once we start to progress through that, how can we come together? That's where we're going, and that's what we're doing. Just like we said, the divine masculine and feminine, we're doing that in Glastonbury, right? So we're already manifesting that. And it's so beautiful and so exciting to be with these ley lines, with the heart chakra. And we're doing it because we also love every one of you, and we want this world to vibrate at a higher frequency, especially in the heart chakra, because it'll affect all of our hearts. It's like if we do this ceremonial healing there, we're going to feel the effects and the ripples of it throughout the world, whether you're there or not. But we do hope that you will be there, and I would love to meet you. We all would love to meet you. So I'm over the moon excited about this.
Me too. Yeah.
It was like I only do things when I feel like a astounding yes, and I felt it so deep in my soul.
Yep. I remember when I told you you were interviewing me for the book. I mean, in your book, and you were like, "Wait, you're going to Glastonbury?" And then you're like, "Can I go?" And I go, "Yeah." And then the next, like, you go, "Let me figure it out." And then within hours, it was like solidified. You were like, "Be there," you know. You just jumped on it, and that's the passion for this event. You know, I put on a lot of conferences, but the passion and excitement from all the speakers from this event hasn't happened before at one event. So just the energy of who's going there. Even the speakers are getting there a day earlier to do an intentional hike to the tour and do a ceremony to the spirits of the land. Like, we're going to all be getting together to harmonize. It's not individual people on Portal to Ascension presenting. It's all of us coming together with our unique gifts, creating a collective movement, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be creating there. So I'm excited for you to be there, Ryla. And then we get to hang out for, in person for a while too. That'll be nice.
So excited. And I hope that, is anyone joining us? For sure, raise your hand if you're thinking.
Stone, are you in the UK, Stone? No?
I won't be able to join you. I'm in New Zealand.
Ah, okay. Well, you guys got a few months to start planning now.
Yeah.
So yeah, hope to see some of you there. All right, we're gonna close out in just a few seconds here. Radha, please just take us home, whatever you want to share in this moment, some words of inspiration, some hope, and then also please let everyone know where they can find out more from you.
Absolutely. I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for showing up. Like I said before, when you show up, it's not just for you, it's for everybody. So I just want to say thank you, because your divine presence makes a difference. It does. You make a difference, and you're all going through sort of, I think all of us collectively are going to walk through this door again, another door where we're going to be letting some things go, right? Identities, old aspects of ourselves, shedding those old skins, and we're going to be stepping more into our our multidimensional selves, our galactic selves. So as hard as it is, you guys, and I'm not like above it, because I'm going through this in real time with you all, right? We're all doing it together. We're all getting the courage to walk through those doors. I just want to say that you are a miracle. The fact that you're here, at this time, in this life, in this time of this great shift, and the fact that we are on this precipice, it means something that you're here. So I just want you to just feel into your heart. You can even just put your hand on your heart. And I just want you to just say, like, I matter. I matter. Because when you remember that you matter, something lights up inside of you. May not be right this second, but your memories, your awakenings are here, and your purpose is here. And so your energy, your light, your beauty, and your soul that may have come from so many other light galaxies away came here. And yeah, it was no easy feat. We never said it was going to be easy. But we all agreed to do this. And so just remember, even on your hardest days, that it's going to get better and that the light is assured. The future is brighter than you could ever imagine. So let's imagine it together and know that we are walking through these doorways together. We rise. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Radha. And radhanilia.net is your website, right? Nilia, Radha Nilia. Or you can type Radha Publishing House and find out the books and everything from Radha as well. Radha, love you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right. And then also, so we're going to head out now, guys. But I just want to say big shout out to Sheila Seppi, Galactic Alliance, doing some amazing work. One of the most amazing light warriors I know on this planet. And just like hands down to Sheila and everything that she's created. And I'm just honored to be here, a part of this with you guys. And I'll be here next week and the week after, I feel. So then the end is my conference. So I'll see you guys next week. Have a beautiful night. Bye. Bye, Radha.